Hey, it's Karen Beach with the Success Snap, and I'm here today with one of the last pre launch episodes. When we launch, it will be June 8th, and from June 8th on out, we will have the best interviews, the best discussions with creatives, meaning authors, meaning musicians, photographers, animators, you name it, business people, and then just regular people about how they define success, what success means to them, how that definition has changed and evolved over time, and whether they see themselves as successful right now. One word for you watching this, listening to this, subscribe, 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 because I promise you won't want to miss anything. We'll have great discussions, and we'll have fun. So, how can you beat that? You learn something, you laugh a little bit, it'll be a good time. You don't want to miss it. So, subscribe, and you won't. So, these these pre launch episodes, pretty much are me talking to you. It'll be a lot different on the 8th when I start, or unless we want to say the royal we. Until I start talking to other people, I want to talk just to you, just me and you. I've told you a little bit in a previous episode about how my definition of success has changed over time. But today I want to talk about this year. This year started at a very low for me, and now it's at a very high place for me. So, what happened and how did I do it? Towards the end of last year, or let me put it this way, on the first day of 2023, I was unemployed, my house was in foreclosure, and the podcast, The Success Snap, that I started 3 months ago was going into hiatus. My house was in foreclosure due to some bad spending decisions based on that I had. Um, I lost my job. I had a good job. They didn't want me to leave, but I wanted to make a little more money, so I left. That was hanging on my head too. The podcast I just started, I didn't have any money coming in because the company that I worked for, I'm a contractor. So the company that had the contract I was on decided they wanted to contest my unemployment. So cue 2 whole full months almost when I didn't get any money coming in. The only money I got was $400 a month from a friend of mine who was renting a room for me. That's the only money I got. Now, think of all your expenses. Think of all your utilities. Um, Gas, electric, water, internet, phone. Think of the food that you need, the gas you need for your car, the car insurance, and try to do all of that with $400. Not really possible. So I'm already at a point where I'm looking for jobs, nothing's coming up. I'm working to get a loan modification so they don't take my house from me. Um, I'm trying to live day by day on this non existent money. And things just seem to be getting worse. And I actually got to a point where at night I would tell God, if you don't wake me up tomorrow morning, it's okay. And when I would wake up that next morning, it would take me 10, 15, 20 minutes to get out of bed because I was terrified. I was scared at what fresh hell was going to be unleashed on me. Now, the funny thing is that I don't date. I haven't dated for a couple of years. I don't go online. I don't do anything. I've accepted pretty much that I'm going to be single all my life. So when my friend at the end of the last year, 2022, said she had a guy that wanted to meet me, saw my picture and wanted to meet me, I said, no, thank you. But something said to meet him, and I met him, and he was with me throughout all this stuff. I mean, he prayed with me. He sent me motivating texts. He did everything. We didn't exchange money because that would have just been weird to me. But he was there for me. He talked me through things. And he was there when I did something that was really, really difficult for me. There is a place off of downtown that I go several times a year. And I take clothes that I'm donating. I take um, household supplies, blankets, cooking supplies, anything. And people need them. So I donate them. But now I was going there not to give help, but to get help. I was trying to get help with the utility bill, and they ended up not helping me. But the fact that I had to go there to ask for help, the fact that I spent several months on food stamps took the wind right out of my sails. Any wind that I had left took out of my, just took right out of me. And he had called on the phone right when I got back in the car after not getting help on this utility bill. I cried. I cried so hard because I didn't understand how my life could be like this. I didn't get it. This was a low point for me. And I am a suicide survivor, and I'm not gonna lie. I considered it again. Why am I here? What is the point? And eventually, I even called my old job to ask for my old job back. And I was told that just filled my position a few days earlier. If I'd have called back when this just happened, I could have gone back to the job that I enjoyed, that I liked, where they liked me. But my arrogance and my ego kept me from making that call. I had to hit rock bottom to make that call. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have needed that to happen, but it did. And I didn't know what to do. I can't even really right now put it to words how low I felt, how bad I felt. Because a lot of this I blamed on me. I had a good job. I didn't have to leave for a couple more dollars, but I did. My house was in foreclosure, and most of the time I had been working, but they had a problem with their website. So, oh, there's a problem with the website. I'll pay the bill later. And I never got around to paying it. That's my fault too. Everything that happened, I could put back on me. And so that's why I started thinking, why am I even here? If I'm this much of an idiot, if I'm this much of a tool, why am I here? But I also started taking a 12-step program for people like me who have problems with spending. And that started to help. But I still was making next to nothing. Even once my unemployment situation got straightened out, compared to what I had been making, This was nothing. So I was surprised when I got a call several days, later. Now it's mid-March. And the company that I left, the department that I left, they had another opening. And the first thing my manager did was call me. He called the agency I'd worked with before, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to come back?" And I said, "Of course." So I came back and I accepted the job and I signed a contract, and it was for 3 years, and I was so happy. And they were like, "You'll get paid the same rate." I'm like, "That's fine." And things started to turn around, but not so fast. Because since this had happened, I kind of hadn't been paying my car note. I hadn't been answering the phone. Why am I going to answer the phone about debts when I have no money? And even after I had unemployment, I still really didn't have a lot of money. So finally, since I had accepted this new job, I answered the phone for my car payment. And I wanted to make arrangements to pay it back. My goal is always to pay my debts. And they were like, "That's great, but if you don't have $1,900 to us by Monday," and this is Thursday at like 7 p.m., they're like, "If you don't have that money to us by Monday, your car's going on the repossession list." My car, less than 50,000 miles, paid off with less than a year, is going on the repossession list. Like, great. So from that point on, throughout the weekend, I did the only thing I knew to do, which is try to get a payday loan. And if you've ever gotten a payday loan, you know those terms are ridiculous. So I was only able, because I hadn't actually started working yet, I wasn't even able to get a payday loan. I got one for $1,200. I'm like, okay, I don't know where to get the other 700 from, but I'm going to figure it out. So I got up Monday morning and checked my bank account. I did not have $1,200. That never came through. I completely lost it. I had a complete meltdown. On her way to work, my friend tried to calm me down. I just was at my wit's end. I live in the suburbs in the middle of nowhere. I can't even get food without getting in my car. So I didn't know what I was going to do. I have this job. Yeah, it's work from home, but occasionally you have to go into work. How was I going to do that? Uber is expensive. So I cried out to my higher power, because remember, I'm in a 12-step program. And I'm like, okay, I believe in you, but I don't believe with 8 billion people you got time to help me. You say you do, but I need you right now. So unless you can help me right now, I don't know what else I'm going to do. So 5 minutes later, I heard the door. My friend came back in. She said, "I give you $400 a month. If I give you $2,000, if I give you all the rent money and actually more, if I give it to you right now, will this help you?" I said, I need 1,900 and change. So yeah, that would be great. And she was with me all day. We went and got the money. We paid the bill, and I was so relieved. Then 2 days later, remember, I had the 3-year contract at the same rate. I'm fine. Haven't started work yet, but I'm fine. I get a call from the the agency I work for, and they're like, "We need you to sign another contract." I'm like, "Why? We going down 2 years or what? What's going on?" They're like, "You're getting a $4 an hour raise." What? You're giving me more money. I didn't ask for more money, but you're giving me more money, so I'm not going to complain. Just send me the paperwork, I'll sign it. So, almost overnight, things changed. So, here I am now, Memorial Day weekend. I'm working, work is going really well. I'm making pretty good money. Oh, and here's another thing. So, I'm starting at the beginning of April. And you think you need that check in the hole and da 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 da. So it's probably going to be before the end of the month before I get paid. So I hadn't been there a full 2 weeks. And I checked my bank account and I'm like, that money's in my account already? And they're like, yeah, because you're already in the system. And so I was like, okay, cool. Well, the next Thursday, I checked my bank account and guess what? I got more money. Well, in the time that I left and now, they've gone from paying bi-weekly to paying weekly. So I'm like, this is even better. And I'm still dating the guy that I was talking to. He's really, really great. He's a really good guy. Things have changed. So, what have I learned from this experience? What has it taught me? It's taught me something that I want to pass on to you. I had it on my one of my websites. Tom Hanks was in a roundtable discussion with a bunch of other actors, and he brought this point up. It's not a Tom Hanks quote. It actually comes from the Bible, the Old Testament, King Solomon. And I just counted the words so I could say it to you. 4 words. This too shall pass. And Tom Hanks said that applies to every situation. And he's right. Things were terrible at the beginning of the year, but they're not always going to be terrible. You see, this too shall pass. Things right now are great. I don't have any major problems. But guess what? Something around on the horizon is going to happen. Maybe it deals with health. Maybe it deals with the death of a loved one, the end of a relationship. Something's going to happen. Why? Because this too shall pass. So, what I want to leave you with today is this. If you were going through a hellish, nightmarish, fresh hell unleashing situation, know that that's not going to go on forever. This too shall pass. If you're living high on the hog and everything's fine and every day you're walking from cloud to cloud and everything's going great, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Don't assume that it's always going to be like that because it's not. Why? This too shall pass. No matter what is going on, whether it's good or bad, whatever season you're in, the next season is still coming. You can love summer all you want, but fall is right around the corner. If you're into your pumpkin spice lattes and your sweaters and your boots and you love fall, guess what is right around the corner? Winter. If you're like me from Cleveland and you know what snow is like in Cleveland, you know that eventually it's going to end and spring is going to come. Life shows us that this too shall pass, and it will. Hold on when you're going through a bad season because that season will not last forever. Embrace and celebrate the good seasons because they're good, because they're great, because this too shall pass. It's so true. This too shall pass. And that is why I don't think my definition of success doesn't involve the material. Because guess what? This too shall pass. I wanted to think so much less of myself when I lost my job, when I went through that foreclosure process. But I've learned, I've taken steps to be better, to change my behavior, to move forward so that when something happens, it won't be the same thing that happened before. Because now I'm prepared to embrace that and tackle it. So that's all I really wanted to say. Took me 20 minutes to say it. I hope you were engaged. I don't know if it was fun. Maybe it was a little fun. I don't know. But this too shall pass. And this episode has passed. So I'm going to end it right here saying again, what's the magic words, kids? The magic word is subscribe. Subscribe to the show. It launches on the 8th. Listen next week when I reveal a very nice prize, little contest I'm going to have for users, listeners, viewers if you're on YouTube. So listen in for that contest. You definitely want to participate. So without any further ado, I bid you farewell until next week.